Hey guys, welcome back, and I'm glad you're still with us on this next tutorial because this is where it starts getting fun. We're going to dive into the variables and the naming here, and then we'll get into the data types next, which definitely will help the understanding of what we're doing so far. So go ahead and write int for the integer data type, and the next part's what we're going to be going in a little bit more to is the variables. So in the previous tutorials we used Jedi Master as the variable name. Now I quickly want to go over some of the standards as far as naming your variables, what you can and can't do so you guys don't make mistakes early on in your programs. But I guess first let's start with variable names. Essentially they hold a value. So as you saw in the previous tutorial, we declared our variable and then we assigned it a value. So here's a little bit different than what we did in the previous tutorial, but you can declare your variable and assign its value in the same line. So just to show you a little bit of variation of how to do things. So you can either assign it a value and it holds that value under the variable name, or you could possibly have like a computation adding other variables together, and or even results of a computation of some sort. So I'll go into examples as we move through these tutorials, but back to the naming. So every variable has to start with either a letter, A through Z, or an underscore. So we'll just go A through Z or an underscore. So it has to start with that. So basically what you can't do is have a variable that has maybe a 4 to begin your variable name, and then you simply type something, 4. No, you can't do that. It's got to be 4 whatever. So it just basically has to start with a letter or an underscore, and then we'll get into the second part here. Now just to note, you could be a capital A or a lowercase a. There's no restrictions as far as that goes. Now and then it can be followed by, there's a few stipulations here. It can be followed by any combinations of letters, either upper or lowercase, an underscore, or even numbers in this case. So as long as you have one letter in there, it can be followed by whatever you want after that, as long as it's 0 to 9. So let me go through a few names that would work, and then we'll go through also a few names that wouldn't work as you guys are developing your variable names. So we could have like a star, we could have a Jedi cross, we could have a lightsaber, we could have late, like L8, and so on and so forth. You could have stuff like that. You could have light underscore saber. So those are all valid variable names based on the rules that they have within the C programming language. A few that you couldn't do would be like 8 sabers, because it has the number in front. Another one that you couldn't do would be like light saber with a space. So the C language doesn't like the space within there. And we'll do 2 more here. Maybe like star ampersand or $ wars. And basically the $ is not a valid character. So there's few nuances that you just got to keep yourself aware of. And maybe another one would be like int. You can't have int because it's already a reserved word within the C programming language. So there's a few naming conventions as you guys are establishing variables in the future tutorials with me. So I'm going to delete those, and we are going to continue on to the next tutorial, guys, learning about some of the data types and again associating those with variables. So I'll catch you guys in the next one.